We wanted to ask you about that actually.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, if you could get I mean, I still where is it?
It's in the city of Des Moines, close to Normandy Park on that side, but Des Moines proper.
Would you be able to list it like next week?
We just have to put bark down. It's possible.
I would. I would
Okay.
list it next week, but not later than that. And if you don't get any action right away, then maybe pull it off and then relist it like third week in January or something like that. But you're going to get the most January through May. You don't want to wait. That's a myth about if you think about supply and demand 101, if everybody thought, I'm going to list my house in the April, May, or in the summer because the flowers are nice and the weather's better. And then everybody lists their home then because they're under the impression that that's the thing. Then you have more supply, right? You have more supply. That means there's buyers have more options. Best time you could possibly list is January through May, January through April. Do not wait. In fact, the market is so strong with lack of inventory. Like I said, if you can get it on next week, I would go ahead and do that. And then, if you don't get the action that you need, right away, setting your offer review date, then is a flip, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then pull it off. There's plenty of qualified buyers in the market right now with lots of money. I wouldn't wait. If you have to wait, to past next week, then maybe wait. But I think you're fine.
Well, thank you for your input. I think we'll do that.
That's my opinion.
Can I ask a follow-up question? This is Paul.
Hey, Paul. Paul who? Hemming?
Hey, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of rentals I'm going to sell, and I was thinking either January or April, but don't you historically get a price increase between January and April?
I don't think you should wait till April. I think January, February is the way to go. Don't try and crystal ball and predict the market. You're going to have more competition the later that you wait. And that's just, trust me on that
All
one.
right, that's what I'll do. I've gotten great advice from the club, so
Hey,
I'll continue following it.
Paul
Yeah,
Hemming, right?
yeah,
Paul, I'm
yeah.
going to introduce you over email later today or over the weekend to my friend Kevin here. Kevin, say hi, raise your hand. Where are you located, Paul? Are you in Kitsap somewhere?
Tacoma.
You're in Tacoma. Okay, Kevin?
Perfect.
Officially going to introduce you to Paul when we're done over the weekend or whatever. You got to mute yourself there, Paul.
Okay.
We hear you driving, unless you have more questions.
No, that was it, because I was on the fence on these two houses, because I need to diversify, and so I got to sell a couple of my rentals.
Well, what's more interesting is, why are you selling them? I mean, you're a longtime landlord and
Well, we have 95% of our assets in real estate, so I'm going to sell 2 of our 10 houses.
And put it and do what with the money?
Stocks. I mean, I just have to put it somewhere, else, not real estate. I got burned in a crash because I had everything in real estate. I should have done this probably a couple of years ago, but I got lucky. So.
Okay. Anybody have any thoughts about that? Dion, do you have anything to say to Paul while he's on the phone here?
So it's probably not a bad idea to diversify. I like that you got to 10 units and now you're thinking of selling a couple to diversify, because most people quote Warren Buffett when he says you really have to diversify to protect your assets. And his partner, Charlie Munger, they were sitting in a meeting one day on a panel, and Charlie goes, don't diversify. That's the worst advice ever. You need to focus on one asset class to become wealthy. Once you're wealthy, then you diversify to protect your assets. So if you were just starting out and you said something like, oh, I want to buy some stocks and some real estate, I would go, I don't think that's a smart idea. Focus on one until you gain wealth. Once you have 10, especially if you have a really good equity position, it might make sense to pull some out, to sell some and put that money to work in stocks. But then you said you got burned in the crash. Buy and hold investors in the crash made out like bandits. Rents went up in 2009. So unless you're flipping or you plan on selling in 2 years, if property values dropped by 50% as an investor, I would be ecstatic. Even though my portfolio took a hit, my rents aren't going to go down.
Yeah, well, we make about, I don't know, 30, 40,000 a year in rents net. And so that'll be part of my income stream. But, you know, the guys that are doing flips right now are a lot more gutsy than I am. So, and we had leveraged our properties because we were doing property development. Our financing got pulled. So that's how we got killed in the crash. And people moved because all the foreclosures, you know, you fix up your house as a rental one way and to live in a different. And so people were getting nicer houses for lower rents in the crash.
But you also had all of those people who had the foreclosures happen to them that became renters, increasing demand on a limited supply. So it kind of went both ways.
A lot of people moved in. There was 2 family and households. There was a lot of vacancies during that time. So, I mean, you guys up north did a lot better than we did down in Pierce County.
Let me ask you, you know, one way to diversify also, it's still real estate related, but a different way would be maybe connecting with Flynn Family Lending, and they're private money brokers, right? And making, if you want to diversify upon your diversify on things that you know and that you can control your own decision making on, you might think about talking to, you know, Flynn Family Lending about getting some first position lien money or something like that, or whatever. Have you ever talked to those guys?
I have about a loan about a year ago. And,
yeah, instead you can be the lender, right? And that's set of eyes. That's a potential good return on, you know, a different way of still sticking to the real estate market though, as you know, but as maybe in a safer position if you're the first lien position holder.
Yeah, I thought of that. I thought about Delaware statutory trust.
Yep. Well, keep us posted. We're curious to see how it goes for you.
Okay, well, I'm getting
anybody
close
looking
to
to buy
retirement,
some rental
so.
properties? Right on. What's up, Dante?
Hey, Julie.
How's it going down there in sunny California?
It's been a while. Doing good. I got another big house, and I'm trying to set that up, get that up and running. It's gonna have 8
Awesome.
rooms. Same thing, run by the room.
So you picked up a big house down where?
Torrance.
Cool. Hey, Dante, I want to introduce you to my friend Kevin. I'm going to introduce you guys over email later, right? Kevin, you guys have a big show down in California, right?
Oh yeah, actually one of our bigger markets is down there, like all of LA and like Inland Empire. We cover all that.
Yeah, so Kevin is with Sundae. Have you seen or heard about Sundae down in your market?
Oh yeah, I get texts every morning about Sunday.
Okay, so are you already on there? Okay, cool. Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good stuff. Landscaper must be wrapping up out here. So you got a big house down there. Where'd you get it? How'd you get it? Tell us the details about how you picked it up and how you financed it. It's a boarding room style investment. Yeah.
Yep. Same idea. Co-living sounds nicer, so that's what I'm going with. I had been looking for over a year to find the right property because it has to be the right property. It has to have enough space to get a lot of rooms. It doesn't make sense unless I get more than 7 rooms for me. This one I'm going to be able to get 8. Then also parking. So I got to make sure that there's parking, whether it's a back alley or out front or around the corner if there's a park or something like that. So there's a lot of things. And for what I could qualify, I couldn't afford anything for a long time until I found this one, which needed a bit more work. So this one's going to be more of a renovation, not as much. It's cosmetic mostly, other than adding the rooms like framing and stuff. But yeah, going to be it's a 8.3. It's going to be an 8.4. You're just going to rent it by the room. It's close to a really big hospital. So I'm going to
Cool.
try to do traveling nurses. Maybe I can do furnished rentals. Just going to try something new for at least the first couple.
So there's no zoning or local municipality restrictions on rent by the room? No?
No, LA doesn't enforce it. There's a housing problem. So I've called the city and asked, hey, what happens? On paper, they are, but it doesn't get enforced. So you can do that for a couple of years to get some cash flow.
Is that normally what you're doing then? Is that how are you reframing the house from what'd you say, 4-bedroom to 8? How does that work? How do you do that?
Last one I didn't do permits. I'm evaluating what I'm going to do at this time or not. It just takes too long, and it's a lot.
I mean, how do you find the space to get 4 more bedrooms in there?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't look at anything other that's smaller than 2,800 square feet. So it has to be a big house, and then the second living room, a big room that gets divided into 2. This one has a massive second living room. It has 2 big living rooms. So I'm getting 3 bedrooms out of 1. And then 1 out of the other, and it's just gonna have a small living room. People don't use it.
So the idea is you're looking for a house that has like a big rec room or something. In addition to you leave the main living room the way it is.
I did last time and it doesn't get used, so now I'm making it a room.
Oh, really? And
Yeah.
people just in this thing, they pretty much hang out in their own space.
Yep, to have like really fast Wi-Fi, people just stick to the rooms.
Interesting. That's interesting. So what are the parameters that you're looking for? At least 2,800 square feet you need to start, or with, how do you back into what you're looking for? You look for a size, then you look for a current existing layout that would be friendly to throw up some framing.
Yeah, when I'm doing my search, everything gets filtered out. So first it's through the size, right? Size and price point to whatever I could afford. And then after that, it's pretty easy. In Google Maps, most of them don't pass that because I need to see parking. And if there's no parking, then it's not going to work. So
Gotcha.
through those, I only see like 2 or 3 a week. And then from those, I can pretty easily, if I need to walk them, I can see the size of the layout. Then that's what I look for when I don't see anything else other than the layout.
And how did you finance it? Just based on, are you able to pay full market value or for these properties, since you're collecting, your business model is to collect such a premium?
Yeah, I overpaid for this one. It was really competitive, and I've lost I lost like 3 before that. I was bidding like 40K, 50K over asking. So this one, it was the same thing, 50K over asking, and it got accepted.
Was it listed?
Yep.
So you're picking up full market value, actually over list price properties, because of your model of able to slam in all the extra rooms. What do you get per room down there?
About 1,000.
1,000 per room. Does it have to be a certain size? Like it needs to be like 10 by 10 or what?
Yeah, average. I have bigger rooms, but the smallest, it's a little bigger than like 10 by 11, 11 by 11. That's what I shoot for. And
so for how many what's the bathroom ratio you need for an 8-bedroom house or a 6-bedroom house?
So the first one that had 9 rooms, I have a couple that share 3 people for 1 bathroom, and it works. I have a system set up, so I have a cleaner come out, and they don't also paper towels and toilet paper are included, so they don't deal with the coordination that happens in between roommates. So that gets taken care of. But up front, through screening, people fall out just because they hear that they're sharing a room with 3 people. That's a lot. So now I'm trying to keep it 2 to 1, and that's pretty easy.
2 to 1.
You just, because we'll just say over the phone, hey, you just share with 1 other person. Sounds a lot better.
Yeah. And what's your screening criteria? They have to make 3 times the $1,000 or something?
I do 2.
Okay.
Just a little less. They're renting a room, so it's I do 2. And then they have to be employed or a student with the cosigner.
And what kind of loan are you putting on? What kind of down? And is it like you're going to move in?
I'm going to move into this one. Yeah. Same one as the other one for a year. And then I'm going to move out. I'm going to take one of the rooms. So 5% down, conventional.
5%. Sweet, man. That is, what do you guys think? You guys like this? Anybody else doing this deal? And you're going to pick up one of those sometime?
I think it's a great business model. Super impressive. I'm way too lazy to rent by the room, but I mean, you're killing it, Dante. That's awesome.
Way to go, Dante.
It's a lot of management. So I'm not going to say it's not, but it's worth the cash flow. And then in this market, I mean, if I just hold for a while, I'm gonna make most of my money through equity, which I'm already making a lot in cash flow. So the fact that I can do both is really good.
So you've got $7,000 a month coming in because yours is free.
What do you mean?
You don't pay, they pay your
Oh yeah, that's
right?
what it's gonna be. Yep.
And your mortgage payment is what? On taxes and PITI and all that.
So for the first one, and now it's up and running. It's stable for a year now. It cash flows like $3,000 a month after everything. I have
After
everything, yeah, which is a lot. So I've been able to roll most of that into the next one. So it's almost buying the second one off the first one.
What's the capital requirement in the beginning in regards to furnishing it and in regards to, and then of course you have your ongoing cleaning, but what's your capital requirement? Do you have to furnish anything?
I did common spaces. This time I'm going to do a couple of rooms to see if they get rented furnished for high rents. But it was $25,000 last time to furnish the whole house. And I did a game room. So it might go down to like 20, 22, 23 if I don't do the game room, because I don't have space for it this time.
So 20, 25, 20K to furnish what? To furnish, you put last time it cost you 20K and you put like couches and stuff in?
Couches, TVs, just in shared spaces.
Gotcha.
Outdoor area with little barbecue, fire pit, string lights, make it cute.
Sweet. That's awesome, man. And have you ever tried to refinance the first one?
That's next. So I can finance some ADUs I want to do in both of those. That way they could really get supercharged.
Nice. Curious to know, does anybody know any lenders that would, I'm curious to see how the loan situation works on that. If they're just going to give you, the value. I mean, I guess, does anybody have anything to say about that? Albert's here. What's up, Albert? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Albert,
hey guys.
Do you guys know each other, Albert and Dante? Because Albert's in California.
I think we got a call once.
Albert, Dante is doing the boarding house style. He's down. He just picked up a second one in Torrance. Albert,
I have a lot of
lender.
who do that. Yeah, I have a lot of people who do that boarding style home in LA. Well, Seattle too. A lot of people have those 12-bedroom, 8-bedroom houses. So,
well, Albert, you think you can you can refinance Dante's first boarding house? He needs a refi.
Valuation wise, it's just comps as normal. So you're comping out houses. You're not getting cap rate valuation, of course, like an apartment building. So you're comping out houses. If all the houses are $1 million and his is $1 million, then probably go to 75, 80 LTV, loan to value. And it depends if he lives there or not, right? So if he lives there, he gets better pricing.
Oh man, you should refinance it before you, right?
Yeah. The question that always comes up is, can I use the rent? No, you can't, because it's one legal unit. You have a bunch of boarders with you, basically roommates. So you better have beefy income yourself, or you're not going to be able to qualify. Or you can move out, then you can use all the leases and offset your mortgage. Now you have no liabilities. You can qualify easier, but you won't have a great rate. So whoop-de-doo, right? But that's the loan officer in me speaking. But the investor in me speaks that that's a great deal. 9 people paying $1,000 a month. That's fantastic.
Albert, what's your phone number? Drop it in the chat so Dante can grab your contact information. I'm telling you, Dante, Albert is a gift. He is your gift. He is any of that stuff. He's the man.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully that helps a bit. I know that was quick, but $9,000 a month. I heard that part.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'll reach out.
Yeah.
What else is going on? How's everybody else doing? Go ahead, Kevin.
I had a quick question, Dante. By any chance, are you using pad split for your room rentals, or are you just kind of going at it by yourself?
Pad split. What's that? Like when I rent it?
No, it's actually like a startup as well, and they kind of focus on the rent by the room model as well. And they're kind of like a marketplace essentially, where they connect you with the tenants, and then they help you, get the property so you can, refurbish them to the rent by the room model. So if you haven't worked with them in the past, I know they're mostly on the East Coast right now, and they're quickly growing. Yeah, but I worked with them for a couple of transactions, and I figured like you're pretty much like spot on with their model, so I figured you were probably using them. But yeah.
Well, what's up? What was the name again?
pad split,
That's
Drop it in the chat. Hey, Joe, let's do a podcast with them. Thanks, guys.
yeah, honestly, they've been getting like awards left and right for like, providing affordable housing and just being very creative with their model. So I'm sure you could probably get some good stuff from them too if you reach out.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Sweet. Good stuff. All right. Anybody have a question? Anybody else have a question today? Need help with anything?
I had a question. It's about virtual staging versus regular traditional staging. Do you have any opinions on that?
I'm a traditional staging gal all the way. I have not tried virtual, so I don't have anything to say about that because I just feel it's got to be, I'm still a big open house person, and I just feel the emotion is evoked in the house. I would use virtual staging maybe when my client or the situation might not lend itself well to regular staging for some reason. But that's just my opinion. If you need a stager, I'll give you one.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. White House staging.
Okay.
White House staging, Stacy Masterson.
Thank you.
And tell her that I told you to call her. And she
Will do. Will
she
do.
she is awesome, but it ain't cheap. You know what I mean? How big's your house?
2,800, I think, square feet.
2,800 square feet. Yeah, that's, like $4,000.
Yeah.
Something
Okay.
like that. To me, totally worth it, in my opinion, but cool. What else?
Thank you.
Anybody else got a question today?
Got a question.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm considering a partnership as my first, my second real estate investment. And the potential partner would brings a lot of experience with marketing and some property management, but I would be the money man. So we're looking at a property, our budget would be approximately $150,000 for a short-term rental somewhere in Texas. Since I would be the money man, I think the partnership would work out that I am first in line for making my money back. And after that, we're 50-50 partners. So I was
Well,
just
what do
wondering.
you know? You know what? We just recorded a kick-ass podcast on short-term rentals with Avery Carl that comes, is it dropping Friday? Joe, is it coming out this Friday?
It's on course to come out tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. And she is the founder of the Short Term Shop. So check out the shorttermshop.com. She has all kinds of resources and great content and information. And you can listen to the podcast that's coming out tomorrow for short-term rentals. How she previously partnered is that somebody brought the money and they were the operating partner and they were on a 50-50 split. And what they did is their share of the down payment, they created sort of a mini loan with their partner. So they had a 50-50 cash flow split, but they would basically kind of pay a mortgage payment to their partner once a month, towards paying their share of the down payment. And then they would collect their cash flow after that until they paid that off. Or it can be structured any way you want, but we cover that in the podcast. And I also highly recommend that you let me give you an introduction right to Avery, because they're in those markets. Where in Texas?
We don't have a specific location yet, but it's going to be something that, where there's a lot of demand.
You're looking for a space.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I'm going to introduce you directly to Avery, and she works the Texas market and some other markets down there. She knows the best markets to invest in, and she can actually even find you the deal, help you with everything that you need. So can you send me an email with your contact information?
Will do.
Just send it to julie@seattleinvestorsclub.com. And if you do that, I'll connect you with Avery today.
Okay, I'll get that out.
So then, so you need the other person because you have the money, right?
I have the money and I have the potential partner
You might not need that partner because you might be able to maybe hire her company to be the management company, right?
Okay.
Or maybe I would, like I said, reevaluate who your partners are. And then always remember, guys, when you're looking to partner with somebody, you need to know basically their credit, their situation, because they could take you down as a partner, right, Albert?
That's exactly my concern.
Right.
Albert, when people come to you and they're in a partnership and they want to get a loan, and and they're 50-50 or however the split is, over 20% is like a threshold, right? Somebody's a partner below 20%. Albert, tell me if I'm wrong, or if it's this commercial, then they're not. Go ahead, Albert.
It just depends. I mean, are you talking about conventional lending, 1 to 4?
I'm talking about, well, I was talking about commercial, but tell me how it works either way.
Well, then on commercial, it depends on the bank, but generally some banks are over 5%, you got to sign all principals. Some say, 10 or 15. Basically,
it used to be 20%. I mean,
yeah, it depends on the bank. I mean, if you got enough net worth and you can just do it yourself, they might not even need the other principals.
What's the conventional thresholds?
It just depends on how the income is calculated. So if you're over 20, if you're 25% or over, you're considered self-employment. They underwrite the loan as if you're self-employed. So it's consideration. The way they calculate your income is different.
So here's a big tip for you guys. Like whenever, like Albert, get Albert's contact information that's in the chat. If you're ever thinking of partnering and doing a deal, you should talk to Albert first and have your partner scrutinized, and then you'll find out whether that's like a precursor to decide whether you guys should even partner or not. Because if you partner with somebody with bad credit or that they have a history of issues with whatever, they'll take you down. So you gotta be real careful on that.
Yep.
Word. But Kevin, did you just ask me to give you Avery's contact? I'll do that.
Yes, please.
Will you send me a text though? Because I'm moving a little too fast today. Why, okay. Is it for Sunday purposes then?
Nope, this one's for personal.
Okay. We'll mention the Sunday thing as well, to Avery. Cool. I'm going to try to get her to come join us on a Thursday here. And if there's anybody that you guys are like, dang, I'd like to be able to talk to that person, or, pick the brain of this person or whatever, whoever that is, wherever they are, whatever the topic is, we have actually pretty good track record of success getting people on our podcast show. So let me know who that is.
Julie, is the topic unconventional rental strategies? Is that the topic mainly today?
Today, no, there is no topic. We're just talking.
Well, I work with a lot of short-term Airbnb companies, basically couples and people who manage, and they usually end up maxing out their 10, and then they find brothers, sisters, friends, uncles, and then they do 10% down with them, and they max out their 10. I have some people with 20 or 30 short-term Airbnbs. Some with master lease strategies, some with buying them with other people, some buying on their own credit and income, and a combination thereof of all three. Some say it's illegal to do that master lease thing. I don't know about the legalities. I just know the finance side of it. So,
we when we were talking to Avery, we were covering the finance side of it, and she was saying, what'd she say, Joe? Something like everybody goes for the 10% down, loan. There is, and then we were talking about who is a good Airbnb type lender, and in the podcast, she did name 2 of them. Oh, actually, she's got a mortgage company. That's her full-time business, and they've started a mortgage company for short-term rentals. You should connect with her too, Albert. I'm going to connect you. Will you send me a text, Albert, please, that just says introduce me to Avery?
that would be definitely cool.
Sweet. Look at that. Cross-country connection. She's in Florida, but they're in like 10 markets. She's doing business right now in 10 markets. All
Yeah, it's a
right.
big thing.
Sweet. Good stuff. What else is going on? Anything exciting going on in your world, Alex?
Just really, really intense on the volume that we're seeing. So, I mean, and I think I might have said this before, but if you know anyone that's looking to try working in the lending industry, I want to talk to them, whether that's as an underwriter, as a client engagement person, as a software engineer, someone that's, working on appraisals, like just, we're looking for people. We're looking for good people.
So if you guys haven't met Alex before, Alex is with Certain Lending, who is our sponsor of Seattle Investors Club and of this show and of this podcast and everything we do, and our super awesome hard money lending partner, as well as now they have long-term product. And we have lots of podcasts like Burr Financing Strategies and so forth. Maybe Joe, you could grab the webinar we did with Nee, who is one of Alex's colleagues on Burr Financing Strategies. Hey, Alex, is there a topic in financing that you feel is like going on that needs to be covered that we could cover with a new webinar or podcast together, or with Nee or whoever?
I mean, I think a good well, okay, so I can tell you right now that Nee is, he's moving into a different role in our company, and he's probably not going to be available to talk for an extended period of time for a while. I would say one thing that it would be good to be able to talk, about as a lender is like, the difference in financing. I mean, you've already got a podcast done about like conventional versus asset-based financing, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a kind of follow-up to that would be, like maybe why, I don't know, maybe a good topic to talk about would be like financing a traditional rental versus financing a short-term rental. Because I mean, they are different asset classes. And I mean, I think something that a lot of investors don't seem to realize is that short-term rentals are still a relatively new asset class. There's still a relatively new way to look at things. So, I mean, with long-term rentals, renters have like, like lenders have 50, 100 years of data on how those perform. Short-term rentals, like in their current incarnation, like Airbnb, VRBO, whatever, that's really only like maybe 20 or 25 years worth of actual data. And so far, right, like I think a lot of lenders are still trying to figure out, like at a very high level, how does this asset perform long-term? Like, what kind of like default rates can you expect across different credit classes, across different geographical areas, that kind of thing. So that's like every time I get an investor that tells me that, why can't you finance my Airbnb? I'm getting great rents off of it. I got to just be like, look, it's still a relatively new asset class. We're just not well set up to do it yet.
Yeah. And like I said, I think there are some lenders that are focusing on it, that we talked about with Avery, and maybe that's a good connection and referral for you guys, Alex. And then I think one of the great topic might be like, can you count? Is there a misconception, Albert and Alex, on being able to count your premium of your short-term rental income in your financing? Is that a confusion point for people? Are they like, I get all excited about the cash flow and the initial deal and the purchase, and then they're like, let me refinance this after I've, moved out, or, or short-term rental, whatever's going on. Would you say, Albert, that there's a chain in the fence missing there that people are not understanding?
Yes. The distinction is, are you buying it to live there? You're going to house hack STR it, short-term rental, AKA. Or are you going to buy a second home and actually operate it as a second home rental? Those are the first distinctions. And then are you asking like after they filed their taxes? Because we calculate the income off the taxes at that point. But during that first year, you're not going to calculate any income because there are no leases. It's Airbnb. So what my professional Airbnb people do is they have an S Corp company, their own company, AKA themselves. They master lease their property to themselves as the officer. The officer is a leaseor. They personally are the leasee, right? And then they're operating that. So lenders will use that lease as long as the company is operating for 2 years. It's an official, legit company that does Airbnb for 2+ years. So there is this setup period, this setup time period, where you can't use any of the Airbnb income if that's what you're asking. Julie.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've gotten around it by setting up that company and getting the leases set up. And we just set the leases at market rent, whatever the long-term market rent is. If it's $3,000, we put it at 3, and then we're making like $7,000, let's say, for instance. So the rest of that $4,000 difference goes into the corp. It is shown as net profit. It's a self-employment activity from
Albert,
a legal and
can
lending
we-
standpoint.
Joe
So-
and Albert, let's
Go
get
ahead.
together and cover this on a podcast then. You want to? Albert?
Yeah, it's basically mortgage planning working with self-employed people, but there's a fancy, sexy title called STR, or short-term rental, on top of it. That's really what it is. But I do this with all the self-employed people, whether it's selling widgets or contractors or realtors. But yeah. So,
Can we podcast about it with you? Can we
love to.
cover? Okay. Joe and Albert, you guys will get together and we'll do that.
But Alex might have products that could finance it while it's operating as an Airbnb.
Well, Alex,
have
why
any-
don't you jump on that with us? Why don't the three of us do it? Seriously. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
that would be cool.
I'm in the same bucket as Nee. Like I'm currently working about 75 hours a week, and
Okay.
I don't have the energy for a podcast right now. I'm really sorry.
No worries.
I can tell you though that when we look at an Airbnb property, we are kind of in the same boat as Albert in that if you have a rental where the appraiser says, hey, look, market rents as a long-term rental on this one are about $3,000 a month, but you're getting $7,000 a month, I'm going to underwrite to that $3,000 a month number rather than the 7. And I need to see that if you're using it as an Airbnb, I need to see that you have at least 6 months of history on it. It doesn't necessarily have to be your 6 months, but just like I need to be able to see that it's been in use as an Airbnb for 6 months. But we still underwrite to the long-term market rents right now. That will change eventually, but right now that's where we're sitting.
Very
Is
cool.
there a benefit to buying an existing Airbnb that gives somebody an advantage with financing?
I don't think so. I think the advantage would be that the ratings and the Airbnb star ratings are already there.
Gotcha.
I guess that would be a business advantage, but not a lending advantage.
Got it.
What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, on our side, like I said, we're not well set up to take on Airbnb type properties. Like we can lend to them, but just there isn't a ton of advantage. And actually, there might be a bit of a disadvantage in our eyes, just because again, we consider this to be a riskier asset class than a traditional rental.
Cool. Good talk. Good topic. See, we never know what we're going to talk about here.
Alex, can you put your contact info in the chat, please?
Alex, what kind of deals are you guys seeing? What are you overloaded with? Flips, spurs, multifamily, what?
I would say probably about 50% are flips, 45% are rental loans, and then like 5% are like, large multifamily deals or large portfolio type deals. And just right now, it's just the volume that we have. Like, just we need more people to be able to handle and make sure that, because we pride ourselves on being able to pay a lot of attention to and really problem solve for every client. And it's a problem if I can't give that same kind of attention to every client that I have. And as a team, we want to make sure that we always have a really high standard of service, really high standard of care for our clients. And it's a problem if we can't offer that to
Layla, you want a job? I think you'd be a good fit. No? Okay. Layla, she's a smarty pants here. We've got,
Good problem to have, right, Alex?
yes,
It's a good
sir.
problem to have, but it's still a problem.
Yeah.
Sweet. What else is going on, everybody? Troy, what's the update? You got some news? Are you buying me dinner or what?
Give me like 5 minutes and I'll pull over.
All right. Who else do we have here today? Andrell Robinson. How's it going? I'm picking on everybody, saying hi.
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks for the call out here. It's been a while since I've been on. Been pretty busy with things. My dog actually just ran out, so I had to run, and I missed a little bit of the meeting there.
worries.
But yeah, definitely appreciate the shout out here. I have been looking around for a cash buyer that I've got. They're looking for an investment, long-term hold somewhere between Linwood, Bothell, Kirkland, all the way down to Renton. And they're looking to spend up to 900,000, something that they can use. It'll be the third investment property. And as you mentioned, the pickings are kind of slim right now. So we've looked at a few places and figured I'd jump in and see if anybody might know of anything.
I just saw an off-market deal from Victor come by my desk in Bothell. I'm going to tell you guys something. Kevin, I'm going to tell everybody here. Have you heard of InvestorLift? I think you guys are trying to be InvestorLift at Sundae, personally, a little bit. And Kevin, you guys let me know if you want to meet somebody at InvestorLift, okay? And I'm telling the rest of you guys to go. We have Victor Ribo in town. There's a guy named Rob, starts with a T, also in town, that's doing a bunch of wholesaling, I guess. But if you guys go look at InvestorLift as well as Sundae, okay, they have a bunch of off-market deals on there. And what InvestorLift does is it allows wholesalers, Kevin, I'm going to make the introduction for you if you hear what I'm saying. They're kind of doing what Sundae does. And yet I think I don't know if they seem to be nationwide and bigger, maybe. But you guys take a look. I'm not going to go into the details, but they have deals on there that are off market, where wholesalers throw their deals to get them sold, same as Sundae. Yeah. But there's a subscription fee and things like that. Kevin, Sunday's free. I don't know. I think it's free for maybe investors to look, but I'm not sure what the pay model is or the access model is on InvestorLift, but I can tell you, I know some people super tight with them that might be worth circling up with, Kevin. Okay.
Gotcha. So in this case, there's wholesalers that put the deals on the marketplace. It's not InvestorLift doing the outreach and then bringing the properties themselves.
I am not sure how the connection is made between the two, but I should introduce you to my friend Victor if you don't know Victor. Do you know Victor?
Victor.
Okay, well then I'm going to introduce you to Victor. He's probably top 5% wholesaler in period. In
Rybos, or how do you say his last name?
Rybichek.
Rybichek.
Yep.
I've heard of him, but I haven't met him.
Yeah, I'll introduce you to him. Will you send me a text and say Victor? So I don't forget. I'm crazy, guys. My first job is a mom of twin 13-year-old girls, and they are in middle school, and it is causing me major serious pain. So sometimes I get distracted here. So what else is going on? Let's continue to make them. So you're looking for Bothell, Andrell. Are you an agent?
I am. Yep.
Yeah. You can check out Sundae. You guys can't accept anything but cash, right, Kevin?
Right now it's cash and hard money. We don't do traditional loans at the moment.
So Kevin, can somebody buy from you in their name, or it has to be in an LLC or what?
Yes, it does have to be an LLC. And so the way that we work right now with agents is that we tell them to, we'll obviously have your buyer's agreement signed with your buyer ahead of time, so you get paid. But definitely your buyer has to put obviously their information when they are putting the bid in. So the buyer would have
to. But that buyer has to be in the name of an LLC.
It doesn't have to be, no.
Oh, I thought you just said that.
But yeah, we have had people sign their own name if they're going solo or don't have LLCs.
Well, let me just say that I can.
Sunday? How do I find that? What is Sunday? How do I find that?
Here, I'll put the link in the bottom here, but it's just like an off-market property platform that I work with.
So
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Can I ask real quick? So if somebody buys a property from Sundae as a long-term hold, pays cash, and this is probably a question to the lenders, as a non-owner occupied, what LTV can you possibly get right now to refi?
Yeah, LTV would definitely be a lender question.
I mean, probably 75 or 80. There's 85 too, if you want to take all the hits, meaning higher rate and the points. So
Thank you.
let me clarify these properties. Are they non-owners? You're going in, buying it as a non-owner, right?
That's correct.
Okay, then yes.
Kevin, does the buyer have to be a non-owner occupied property from you?
Yes, right now we are doing non-owner occupied. Although, I mean, once you get it with hard money, there's no, like, once you buy it, you know, you can refi and do whatever you want with it, I guess.
Well, yeah, if you're paying cash, right?
Right. And if you do a hard money, you can refi into a traditional loan afterwards. And then who's to say you couldn't move in technically?
Yeah.
If that's what you're looking to do.
If the strategy was to convert it to primary, what you would do is you would do a private money loan, and you would probably do 95% of the price if you believe the value to be much higher. And then you would move into it and rate and term refinance it. That would be the best price. It would be the highest LTV, 95%. I mean, who wouldn't want that? You know, so that means 5% equity or 5% down for those that don't know LTV.
But Albert, that's a super important point, right? Because it has to be a rate and term refi. It's very important that when you purchase it, you're matching the terms that you want to use for your refinance, if that's the way you're going to do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've done it with merchants many times. I think, you know, they used to broker to merchants. I don't know if they still do, but we've worked together and we've structured these private loans, and then I've got the pre-approval way in advance. And as soon as they close, I refi it. So it's like a two-step.
But that's what we're talking about if you're using hard money. That's if you're refinancing out the hard money. If you're paying cash, then you're just paying cash. You do whatever you want. What if you're paying?
Yeah, in the aspect of cash, I've also done this with private lenders, like actual people, like John Smith on the note. So, you know, John Smith will fund your loan at 95% of this property's price. And as soon as you take over it, you know, you move in, you occupy or whatever, and then we'll do a rate and term refinance out of it as a primary, as an example. And I've even taken it a step further where it's the same person and they've moved money from their company. They wrote a note for their own property, right? Like let's say 123 Corporation writes a note on your own property, and then we refinance and pay off your note, like your own note. So that's the next evolution of using that private money strategy as well. I mean, it's a little complex, but the concept is the same. Whether
And
it's
there's
hard
no
money,
seasoning, no seasoning.
no seasoning on rate and term. You could do one day. We've recorded it. We pulled a new title report, and then we ordered to pay it off and paid it off the next week. That's how fast it's been done. So, you know, it's definitely not like ordering a payoff from B of A, because sometimes it's yourself who's filling out the payoff.
What if I had a regular buyer that wanted to technically buy it as their primary, and I used like money from like Fly Homes, who and purchased it off Sunday, and then turned around and refinanced it rate and term with Albert. I mean, I guess that's not a refinance. It is a refinance because it's a bridge loan.
Yeah. Right. So who's the funder for the note? Who's funding the note?
I guess it's Fly Homes.
Oh, do they fund the note? I didn't know. If they do, that would work.
They do.
But
they do a lending arm, yeah.
I'm going to ask.
I don't know if guidelines. I don't know if they have to fund an LLC or not. You know, some hard money companies want you to fund an LLC. Some
It's
don't
not a
care.
hard money company. They're a direct lender.
Oh, well, then maybe they'll do it.
I'm going to ask them.
Yeah.
Because in that case, you could definitely buy it, you know, buy the Sunday home through Fly Homes cash, and then just refi or do a bridge loan or whatever you got to do.
Well, we need a note. We need a note to do 95 LTV, because if it was bought cash,
It is a note.
Yeah, but if there's no note recorded on the title, because some people say, you know, I'm buying it cash, but they're actually using hard money. So the distinction is there a note recorded at close?
There's
if
a
there
note.
is, then it's financed. No matter if it's not your cash, it's somebody else's cash. Because some people come to me and say, oh, I'm going to buy it cash. But then they're like, hey, I'm using merchants. I'm like, that's not your cash. That's fake cash. You know, that's financing. So I would, you know, preface that. And then if there's a note, we could, in theory, do a regular rate and term refinance for a primary up to 95% of the value. So no seasoning too, one day. So.
Yeah, we got some stuff cooking here.
What's cooking?
Okay, I'm cooking. My brain is cooking.
Oh, you're
cooking. Yeah. Okay. What else?
There's a lot of things you can do with that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
like if you had your own S corp, Julie, you could do it. Like, let's say you had a bunch of cash in there. I thought that the underwriter would ask to see the money moved. Like if you're lending money yourself, I thought they would want to see that money leave the corp and go into the personal checking. They didn't even ask for that. I was very astonished. Because at other lenders, when I've done it, they've asked to see that money move because they want to make sure real money is moving around. But the last lender, I just did one like last month. They didn't even ask. The note was recorded. They just wanted to see the updated title report and the payoff. They didn't even care if real money moved. I mean, that's like a dark gray area in terms of the law probably, but the lender didn't ask. So I only do what the lenders ask because I'm a mortgage broker. So they ask, I perform. That was an interesting thing I saw.
Yeah.
Because like, just so to preface somebody's loss, like if your company, ABC Corporation, says they're lending you 500 and their note is written, you're promising to pay your own corp back. In theory, you would see the money move from your corp to yourself because you're borrowing the money. They didn't ask to see that money move. And I thought that was suspicious, but you know, if they don't care and the notes perform and everyone's paying on time, I guess there's no problem. So
there's a little bit of the Wild West in this in-between stage, I think that's happening.
And these are conventional Fannie Freddie loans. They're not like, you know, some subprime, like there are those sub loans out there, but this is not that. I'm talking about actual conventional A paper.
So do we, Dion, what's up with you? And do we want to also, while we're talking to Dion, talk about the change in the loan limits, 1 to 4 units? How's that good news or something, Albert?
I think it's good news because loans that were at that other limit prior, 776, 250, that's for a 1 unit. The is now 891. I mean, it went up a lot, right? That's like almost 120, 115 grand. That's a huge jump. I mean, especially when you're in Pierce, 890. That's like waterfront house in Pierce County. Even in King County, that's a pretty decent house too, right, Julie? I mean, what do you think?
No.
No,
I mean, in King County,
okay.
In King County, maybe in some parts, not much. I'm looking at, that's like a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, okay condition in Ballard.
Oh yeah, well, you know, Ballard.
Yeah, but
you can't even get into Laurelhurst for 890.
You get into Mercer Island for 890.
Maybe a condo, right?
Maybe.
The timing of the loan limits is funny. I just had a friend who closed on a duplex and it was above FHA for Thurston County. And she had to come out of pocket, I think 3% to make up the difference last month. Next month, she wouldn't have had to do that. So
wow.
I think it's going to help some people like her in her position become first-time owners. But I think it's going to drive prices up even more than they are now.
Yeah, I think so too, Dion. That's cool.
What else, Dion? What's the next topic coming up on your show?
Well, there's several coming out. I'm kind of busy right now recording an audiobook for one rental at a time. That's taking up most of my time as far as coming up with new content. So
cool. Can't wait for that to come out. Hey, big props to our friend Beth Johnson over at Flynn Family Lending. I guess sent her manuscript over for publishing a book for bigger pockets. some big news. We got a little celebrity in the house. Whoop, whoop. She's not on here today. I don't see Ursula on here today, but anyways, that's news. Good stuff going on. Before I let Troy take the stage, and take us home, Troy, does anybody have anything else they need help with or any questions today? Before we wrap it up and let Troy give us some good news about some hope of the big dream of making big bucks. Nobody?
I had a quick question. Just soliciting recommendations for general contractors. I have a rental that's coming up vacant next month. I need to get it quickly, cosmetically redone. So if anybody knows anybody, South King County, and I do need a GC.
Oh, full GC. What do you got to do there?
I'm probably going to have to move some plumbing issues, some plumbing things. I'm redoing kitchen and 2 baths. I've had a long-term tenant in it. I need to go in and see just what the scope is going to be, but it's ready. It's ready for a full overhaul.
I got a painter for you down there, but I don't know about a full. My general contractor is not investor price friendly, I would say, probably for down there, based out of Kent, but more of a builder. But I do have a painter I can throw your way if you need that, who is based out of Kent. If you want to reach out to me, I can do that. Anybody else? Probably go on to Wari and ask that question. Don't know how reliable contractor referrals are these days. I always hate giving those out myself, but just for the fact that they go bad as soon as they go good, sometimes you never know. But all right, here we go, Troy. Lay it down, brother. What's the scoop?
So things have changed today, which is great. But I woke up to a text message from one of my partners, and we've had a off-market offer. Someone tried to put an offer on, but we're only a week out from close. We're only a week out from listing. So this buyer got wind of us listing and is trying to convince us that we should sell off market instead of on market. But I'm not going to cut out my broker a week before we go to market.
Well, are you, the way I might handle that is anything that's a benefit to the buyer, right? To be able to have that opportunity, and nothing that is sold off market ever gets sold, in my opinion, for the list price. So whatever you think your pie in the sky price is that you still can pay your broker and you're only paying one side or whatever and get your broker paid and keep them happy, throw out some stupid number, right? And say, hey, this is a premium for the opportunity. What do they say? No, then say, then they'll say, wait, we'll wait till it lists. They say, fine. You'd be surprised. I just recently saw a property that somebody picked up and closed on, and somebody else who wanted it so bad, they came and paid $200,000 more for it. People have all kinds of reasons for doing stuff. Who knows, right?
Sure.
So ask a stupid number that you'd be willing to sell for that makes sure you get everything covered, your broker covered, and whatever else. And you don't have to feel worried about damaging your relationship with that person, or the fact that they say, no, we'll just wait till it lists. Then fine, that's what they'd be doing anyways.
I guess part of the I hear what you're saying, and that's the argument that I've heard from everyone I've talked to today. But I think the difference is it's a very small community. The buyer is a known quantity, and they're just trying to not have to compete for the purchase contract. So I don't feel, there are a lot of people that I don't want to piss off going into this, because we're going to have a lot of capital left to deploy when we're done with this. Mm-hmm. And so I need to have all the brokers on the same page and not have my name trashed. I mean, if it was an apartment complex and it's a wider community, maybe, but because we are because I'm operating in a larger space that requires brokers most of the time, I'm not gonna screw around, and I'm just gonna let my broker take me to market. And you know,
well, good.
we're going to market with a call for offers, so we'll get the pie in the sky number, I assume.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that's exciting, which means that I'm probably a month away from starting to raise money for our next purchase, which will be awesome.
Are you going to take a little celebration and go do something fun? Come on, man.
No. Have you met me? Have you met me?
Book Profit First? Come on.
Oh, who's got time to read?
Well, listen to the audiobook. That's if you guys, any of you have not listened to that or bought that book, Profit First, you should do that. I wanted to tell you guys all about, by the way, Troy, keep us posted on the exciting news there. I can't wait to see what happens. And I can't wait for that steak dinner that you and Kelsey will take me out to just help you celebrate.
She's moved to the East Coast.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God, that sucks. I want to tell you guys about a book I heard about that some of you may have heard about or not. And it's called The Magician versus Mule. I'm going to be picking it up. And Joe, I don't know if you've heard about that one, Magician versus Mule. It's called something like that. And it is basically talks about, the mule is people who go be employed versus the magician, right? As taking control of your life and your own circumstances, kind of along those lines, but it comes highly recommended. I have not read it yet, but I'm going to be picking that up today for myself, The Magician versus the Mule. And I just wanted to tell you guys that while maybe you can look it up on Amazon, drop it down there. I hear it come highly recommended by some very top producers that recommend it in wholesaling, basically. Wholesaling and entrepreneurship. There you go. My last parting words for the day. All right, guys, thanks for coming today. Everybody check the chat to make sure that you pick up all the information that you need out of there today. It was a good one. Thanks, everybody. And just to remind you that these are all recorded if you can't make it 1 week, but that does require you to be a member of Seattle Investors Club to access those recordings. And it's $220 a year. For that.
Goes on wheels.
Is probably worth it. Not that expensive, but then you can listen to these recordings. We're trying to do our best job at time stamping these recordings going forward. You can all thank Joe for that. So you can skip to the parts that interest you or go back and listen to ones that you've missed. We're trying to do our best with that sort of thing here. So peace out, everybody. Happy holidays. Daniel, good luck with your listing, brother.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with your listing.
Yeah, that's right.
And everybody who sent me a text to follow up or emailed me at julie@seattleinvestorsclub.com, I will be doing so between now and the end of the weekend. All right. Talk to you guys later.